Oh, oh, this is a very special episode. Can't wait. Can't wait. Woohoo. Yeah.
Got something really special. The Plot Malaysia's back.
Hello, welcome to the Plot Malaysia. This is episode 106. This is the show for the fans.
By the fans.
Woohoo! Woo-hoo-hoo. Well, I must say, we are back. We are finally back, and this is a very, very special episode. And I think, this episode is indeed one of those episodes we've been looking forward to. Right, Harry? Right?
It's a childhood dream, to be honest. It's a very, very special episode, and I'm sure fans around Malaysia, Singapore, and across Southeast Asia are going to be excited.
Absolutely. I grew up watching, this particular person play. One of my favorite players, in the region when I was growing up. So, Harry, who do we have tonight? Do you want to make the introduction? Do you want
I'll
to
let you do the introduction. I'll do the drum roll, Ram.
Okay, all right, guys. On the Plot Malaysia, for the very first time, we have with us former Singapore legend, who used to partner with Fandi Ahmad. Let's welcome Abbas Saad.
Hey guys, how are you? Thank
Hey,
you.
good, Abbas.
Thanks for that lovely introduction, Ram, Harry, and thank you for Plot Malaysia for having me on today. Thank you so much.
We're indeed very, very honored to have you on, Abbas. Thank you so much for gracing our show, and we're so happy to be, talking to you today.
My pleasure.
Yeah, it's a big honor, Abbas. It's like I said, we've grown up watching you. Not supporting you as a Red Giant fan, I got to be honest, but big fan of the talent, and then obviously big fan of you as a pundit as well over the last few years. So really big moment for us, and we're excited to get right into it. Actually,
Harry has a few questions to ask you, so he's going to start with him. Go ahead, Harry.
Yeah. I think Abbas, first and foremost, we just want to know, and I think the fans around the region want to know, fans of Plot Malaysia, viewers want to know, what are you up to these days?
Well, I just got back to Sydney, actually. I was in Singapore from April until November. I'm currently doing my pro license. So, unfortunately, we couldn't finish it. It's supposed to finish in November, but it got postponed because of the current situation with the pandemic. So, so I'm back here in Sydney. I will need to go back, I think, around March, maybe. To try and complete. So we got probably half done of the license while I was there. I was just coaching in the SPL. I was helping out Geylang International in the SPL there, just doing a bit of assistant coaching and just a bit of work to help me with my license. And just back in here. Obviously, I was coaching here before I went to Singapore, and looking forward to the next agenda for me. Obviously, we'll be looking for a team. I'd love to manage a team. I love to manage a team, especially in Malaysia, where I had so much success and so much enjoyment and love during my career and during my Punditry career. So, looking forward to the next phase of my life.
It's exciting. Actually, I did notice, actually, I think there's been a bit of a change from a career standpoint for you heading into the coaching direction. I did a bit of my research as well. I know you did manage Sydney Olympic back in New South Wales, I think, for a period of time. And I think it was quite a successful stint. I think you got them promoted as well.
Yeah. No, it wasn't about promotion. I won the double, actually, my first year. So probably the most successful year that the club has ever had. So to win the double, and I won the double as a player for them, and I won it as a coach. So I think I'm the only player that's done that, or might be another one of my teammates who did the same thing, actually. Won it with me and won it as a coach. So but yeah, it was an exciting time. I coached him for a couple of years, and then obviously I took the break to do my license, to do the pro license. which is the next step for me to coach, say in the MSL or obviously the SPL or the A League or whatever it is. So you need this license to get forward with your career.
Awesome.
Wow.
And I'm sure we're going to dig deeper into the coaching part of it later in the interview. Actually, I had some things that I wanted to ask you as well. But before we get there, just so you guys know, and I've got to ask you this one because I also know you with Geylang. I think it was you were involved in the youth program with Geylang. Have I got that right? You in the youth development program?
Well, I'm supposed to do that, help him out with the youth development, and obviously assist them with the first team squad. So help him out with the first team squad. But because of the pandemic, we really didn't get much done. The youth program was pretty much thrown out of the door, and then obviously we were in a bubble during the SPL. So yeah, look, enjoyed as much as you can enjoy it. Wasn't easy, no crowds, can't go anywhere, it wasn't much fun, but kudos to the players. They put their head down, and for everybody, and to the federation actually to allow the competition to continue. Same was in Malaysia with the MSL. They allowed it somehow to continue, and to give the fans at home something to something to cheer them up, because they're locked up at home. So, these competitions are important, and I think, both federations in Malaysia and Singapore did a great job just to continue with the league.
Awesome. I mean, I know it was a very early stage, the youth development program, or like I said, it was shelved as well. But having come back to Singapore for that short period of time, been with Geylang as well, just wanted to get your thoughts. What's talent like in the region? What's talent looking like in the region?
Well, to be honest, it's the first time I was hands-on there. I can see it, firsthand, because I'm there with the players. I've been obviously in the commentary box or in the studios, analyzing been a critic, you say whatever it is, and calling games. So it was a different perspective for me to be hands-on, like I was as an ex-player. I really like the adrenaline. I like that kind of stuff. That's why I've gone back into coaching, and left my television career, so I can get back into it and just to feel the excitement a bit more, and the adrenaline, and because that's what made it so great, to be a professional player, just to be part of the atmosphere. So yeah, look, there's some good talent actually. There's some decent talent. I was pretty surprised. The pool of talent, well, not as big, as you know, Singapore is only a small nation. It's probably got 5.5 million people compared to Malaysia. You're talking about 30 million people. Many states in Malaysia. There's a lot of obviously the youth development in Malaysia. It's a larger quantity and a lot more to choose from. But I think Malaysia's improved over the last probably 5 years. The MSL, the competition, I think, has improved to a certain point. The SPL in Singapore probably hasn't improved as much, but I think they're on the right track now to try and improve it, and hopefully they'll do. Because look, if you're going to have a strong national team, you're going to have a strong competition. Your competition's got to be strong. You got to have good players. You got to have credible foreigners coming in there. Quality, not quantity. It's all about quality, and quality will get bums on seats in the stadium, and that's what the fans want to see. And hopefully Singapore will get that right. Maybe next year, if it's not next year, definitely the year after. I think they're looking what the MSL has done over the years, and you can see the competition is getting much better. Even though JDT has dominated for so many years, but you got to give them credit. They've gone about their business. They've
the right way.
the right way. Everybody has to follow now. If you're going to compete, well, you got to get more professional, like they have, and you need better, better people maybe running it, running the teams these days, and hopefully they can compete with the likes of JD.
No, awesome. Now we obviously want to get straight into the playing career as well. I know Ram's got something lined up from that perspective. Go ahead, Ram.
Well, I mean, Abbas, seriously, having heard from you earlier about your plans to do coaching in the future, I can see the excitement. I can really feel that excitement coming from you. So I wish you all the best with that. And Harry, guess what? We are interviewing Abbas for the first time. A future potential coach to a team. So looking forward to that, definitely. And just want to share with you as well. I am a big fan of your playing career as well. I just want to ask you, during your playing days as a strike partner with Fandi, who was your most notorious defender that you've ever faced? Like the most notorious defender that you've ever faced in your playing career?
Oh,
The most difficult.
in the 90s, some very, very good players, as you know. The national strong. There's some very, very, very good players. Yeah, the Gunalans, Ling Tong Kim. You had Azil Abu Hanifa, Dola Saleh. Malik Rahman at the time, Azman Adnan. And the list goes on and on and on. There was some very, very good players. Defensively, there were some good defenders. A lot of foreigners coming in, as you know, into the league. Most of the teams had a strong defender. We had Jan Jung, Alan Davidson's at Pahang. You had Kalkanov at Selangor. At Kedah, you had Adigon, the Nigerian, very strong, and they were very successful. Kedah on the back of those kind of players. Yeah, look, some of the Bozic brothers, I think they were at Terengganu. There was some very good players, and don't forget, during my time, I think most of the foreigners, or probably 99% of the foreigners, are all internationals, so they were all good pedigree, pedigree.
Yeah.
Now. I don't know how many of them are internationals who are coming in. They're decent players, but they're not big players. You know what I mean? So that's important. I think what we're talking about, improving the tournament, improving the competition, is having the quality of players. So look, Selangor was always a big fight for us. Kedah was a big fight. Well, they're probably the best two teams at the time during my time. I mean, I played Kedah. I never beat Kedah, actually, 2 times. I lost in the Malaysia Cup 2 times. Pahang and we beat Selangor. So, look, I played in 4 Malaysia Cup finals and won 2, lost 2. Won the league, won the double with Johor, won the double with Singapore. Finished second, I think, on the other occasions. So we're always first or second during my time. And there was a lot of good players, and I really enjoyed the competition in that night.
Did you ever cross paths with Zainal Abidin Hassan by any chance around that time?
Yeah, Zainal Abidin Hassan. Yeah.
Zainal was at Pahang at the time.
Yeah.
He was at obviously from Selangor. He went to Pahang. Him and Dollar. And then they had that big dream team where they had Fandi, I think, join them, and Sundram, I think, join them, and God knows they bought everybody. So they did a JDT on the competition in those days. They won it too. We won it in 91 with Johor. We won a double in Johor. And then I think Pahang won it in 92. And then 93, Kedah beat us. And then we beat Pahang in 94. So, I mean, that were probably the top teams at the time. You had the Selangor, Singapore, Pahang, Kedah. Probably the biggest teams at the time, and well supported. The atmosphere was just unbelievable.
It was unbelievable. Those were fabulous days. I mean, just talking about it now, I'm just reminiscing my younger days, watching those football matches, and the quality of talent, the quality, the atmosphere in those stadiums, which made a big difference. Even sitting back watching it at home, it was a joy to watch because of the atmosphere in the stadium. So it brings back great memories. I'm going to take you back to a very interesting part of your career, Abbas. I don't think you'll ever forget this, but you scored a hat-trick in the Malaysia Cup final, which is, I think, was a very, very memorable hat-trick. It was in the final as well. Would you say that was your finest?
Finest game? Overall, I don't know. Well, you should say yes. I had 3 goals and an assist in the 4-0, so I had a hand in every goal, probably. Look, it was one of my biggest games. I think, like I said, I was pretty frustrated in '93. The year before, we lost to Kedah in the final, and rightly so. We were second best at the time, Look, it was a wonderful atmosphere. I think that's probably the biggest part. I think it was at Shah Alam Stadium. It was only the second game. They opened. We opened actually the semi-final. We played Selangor in Shah Alam Stadium, and
I remember watching that one. Yep.
And Selangor we beat
yeah.
final. Yeah. So it was a big final. Sorry guys, I think my battery was about to go, so I thought I better put this in there. There we go.
No
So
problem.
yeah, it was a great memorable. Not just the game, but I think the atmosphere was just phenomenal in 1994. And yeah, it was a great game to win 4-0, score a hat-trick, and get the MVP too of the final. And also I think we won the league, so we won the double on there. So we won everything that year for Singapore. It was a wonderful achievement by the team.
Yeah, I think
I
you've been
got
very
to say
modest there as
this.
well, Abbas. It was a very memorable achievement from you as well. It was a standout moment, I think, just watching that game. Yeah.
But I've got to say this, I've got to tell you this because I'm a born Singaporean, living in Malaysia. And when Singapore faced Selangor, I remember very, very well. I was still a kid. I was still about 11, 12 years old, and Harry was about 11. And everyone around my circles were like, Selangor, Selangor, Selangor. And I was like, Singapore. I was the only one, chanting for Singapore. And when Singapore won, everyone just went quiet. I was like, yeah, so it was a great feeling.
It's like the Selangor Singapore games were just
that was rivalry at its finest. That was
and to be fair, Selangor had supporters for Selangor was amazing. The Red Giants, their supporters went everywhere with their colours. They came in Singapore when I was in Johor. When I was playing for Johor, we had some. Also, I didn't know the rivalry was pretty hot. Johor and Selangor also. So, you gotta love it. You gotta love it, and that's what you dream of. To being a professional footballer, not just to play the game, is where and who against. At the time playing the game, and that's what makes it so exciting. That's why I was so in love with the Malaysian League at the time, because the atmosphere, every stadium was full house, every team was well supported, and it was just magical experience.
No, like I said, great memories. And guys watching this show as well, viewers, the younger viewers especially. I mean, if you want to sample any of that, check it out on YouTube if you can. The atmosphere back then in Malaysian football in the league was unbelievable. It was a joy to watch and really, really different. It was a totally different time actually, and good fun. Yeah.
Yeah, look,
nostalgic.
Yeah, you enjoy. You enjoy as a player. You enjoy traveling to the opposition stadium. You want to go because you just want to see the fanfare and the atmosphere. And even though they were a bit hard on us, being the opposition, it was a bit chaotic in some places. Like when you go to KK to Sabah or to Sarawak, you cop it a bit. You go to Kelantan, you cop it a bit. You got a Selangor, but nothing too bad. Nothing too bad. They're just trying to, support their team, try and put you off your game. But it is what it is. Most of the top players cop this, and you just gotta wear it and get on with it, and just let your feet do the talking. That's it.
Yeah, awesome.
That's it. Absolutely.
Awesome.
So I have the next question, right? Yeah, I have the next question. Yeah. So, this is a very interesting question. I wanted to ask you this because you've been a very, very a good professional all round, a big fan as well. If you could turn back time, and go back to those moments during your playing career, back in the day, what would you change? Was there anything that you would change in your playing career?
No, to be honest with you, nothing. You know why? Because we played the game with love, you know what I mean? We just, we're free spirits. You go out there, every player, it wasn't about money, how much we earned or, or next contract or whatever. You just fell in love with the team, with their supporters or the state or the country that you're playing for. And you just wanted to put your heart and soul into it. And that's the way I played, I played with my heart and soul. And obviously, we want to succeed. You want to win. You want to do well. So second best was never, an issue with me. I never liked that. So for me, you finish second, you finish last. You know,
Yep.
you play professional sport to be the best and to win as much trophies as possible for the team that you play for. And that's that passion. That passion is missing at the moment. That's what I'd like to see. I'd like to see that kind of passion from
Yep.
everybody, not just the fans, but the players and everything. When you go out there, you go there to teams to win something. You don't just go there for the dollar and cent, for your contract. You just play out your contract. If you win, you win. You lose, you lose. Who cares? I get paid. I go home.
Yeah.
No, it wasn't like that. No, it was more. It was more to us. And I'm sure you speak to any player in the 90s, I think they'll tell you exactly the same thing. It's that passion, that camaraderie, that how can I say, that brotherhood, you know what I mean? Because you're all so close in the team. My JDT team, my Johor team, we were so close. I love those players, We'd do anything for each other. And that's why I was successful. And the same thing was in Singapore. If you're not together as a team and as a unit, and the passion that because you're not playing just for yourself, or you're playing for the state or for the country, and you're playing for all these people who come and support you. And that's what you've got to put your heart and soul in every minute of the game that you play.
That's a great point. Actually, as a follow-on to that, Abbas, I've even as fans, and I wanted your thoughts on this as well. But just growing up watching football in the 90s, for example, and then watching football as we are now. One of the big changes, and one of the things I have noticed is back then it was a lot more free spirit, as you said. People were playing with a bit of a smile, but it allowed for creativity. It allowed for brilliant number 10s. It allowed for extravagance. The JJ Okochas of the world, the Ronaldo, Nazarios, for example, the Zidanes. It allowed for the number 10s and people to express themselves a bit more.
Yeah.
Do you feel football has become a bit too much more structured these days?
Robotic, very robotic. Yeah, structured and robotic. It's all about. Yeah, it is. I mean, I'm doing my coaching courses. I can tell you the same thing. They want this. It's all about tactics. A lot of tactics go into it. But you know what? You can have as much tactics as you want, but if you don't have that little bit brilliance from players who can change the game, you can play. You can park the bus. 10 buses in front of the goal. But if you've got that little bit of creative player, you've got that special player, technical player, like we was talking about, express himself and do that. You don't see that anymore because it's just pass. There's not many dribbles anymore. You know what I mean? Yeah. There's not much, as you said. I like to see the same thing. I'm with you. I was that kind of a player. You know what I mean? Yeah. I played off the cuff. Yeah. You can't tell me where to stand, when to cross it, when, you know what I mean? Yeah. I wouldn't have made it in this current world. You know what I mean? You gotta read the game. You gotta read the situation. But it's that telepathy, that understanding between you and your teammates. It's one look. It was like that with me and Fandi. It was one look. He knew exactly where he wants. I knew exactly where he wants the ball, or he knew where I was running. The midfielders understood that. That's exciting. That is exciting. And it was just attack. It was more about entertainment, outscoring the opposition, not defending the opposition. It's all about outscoring the opposition. You know what I mean? Because we're there to entertain. And that's why we got bums on this seat, because of the kind of games that we played. It was open games, yes, open. There's a lot of goals. But, oh, my God, if you're going to pay money, you want to see that. You don't want to see 0-0, 1-0. You know what I mean? Passes going backwards, sideways, side, and slowing the game down. No, you want to see more excitement. So, it's a different game these days. It's more tactical than it was back in my time. But technically, and as you said, number 10s and players expressing themselves, there's a lot more action during my time, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, the Mavericks, the Guile. I mean, just thinking about it, right, Ram, as well. I mean, think about, if you were to list out players like that these days with that bit of genius, that bit of off the cuff about them, you'd probably have 5 maybe. Messi, Ronaldo, you'll name Salah and a few others. But back then, you had Ginola, you had Okocha, you had the Laudrup brothers, you had Eric Cantona, you had Ryan Giggs, you had Steve McManaman, and the names Del Piero, Totti, Roberto Baggio, Romario, Stoichkov,
Roberto Carlos.
They were all.
Yes, look at the wingers. Look at the wingers now. Look at the wingers. How many exciting wingers we have in world football now? Neymar, probably. Neymar.
Mbappe, maybe.
Well, he's not a winger; he's more of a striker. I'd say.
Yeah.
Probably. Yeah, I can't really say that many.
Yeah.
I like Chiesa, the Italian Chiesa from Juventus. At least he gets the ball and he beats players. In those days you had so many, as you said. And that's what's missing. Number 10s. Where's the Zidanes? Where's all these
Michael Laudrup's,
we don't have that many at the moment. You can probably count them on your finger these days. But it is what it is. And I think, like I said, it's just more structural now. It's very tactical, structural. A lot of it is very robotic, and that's probably why we're not getting as much excitement. Probably outside the EPL, not much excitement going on.
I guess it's becoming very predictable these days compared to last time, where it was so unpredictable. No one knows when you're going to put a pass in. Now it's like everyone knows exactly what's going to happen. So it becomes very boring in that sense. So even I'm hoping for better football. In the Premier League, of course.
The way I coach, it's the way I coach. When I coached, I saw my winger get the ball, and then he was passing the ball back when he has like one-on-one in here, and I'm going to him, hey, hello. I said, you're in this position. I don't want you to pass. He goes, what do you mean? I said, I don't want you to pass. I just want you to try and beat your man every single time. I said, you don't beat him, that's fine. I said, but if you beat him 1, 2, 3, 4 times, you've created four chances for us. Can win this game. And I used to tell my front third players, I said, you got to entertain me. And they used to laugh. The boys laughed when I came in. I said, I want to be entertained. I go, oh. I said, yes. I said, entertain me. I said, you can't be predictable. You got unpredictable. I said, play the way you see it. I'm not going to tell you what to do when you get in the final third. I said, you know what I mean? I said, this is where that individual brilliance. I want to see that individual brilliance from you. Don't be scared to try things. And that is, I think, the message is important from a coach to the player, because you give them confidence when you tell them, you know what I mean? Don't be scared. Don't be scared to do things. Go out there and entertain. And, you got to be positive. And that's just the way we played in the positive manner. I always played in the positive manner. So, and that's how I want to coach my teams. I want to coach my teams the same way. I want players to express themselves, not to be scared. I want them to be fearless. When you go on the park, be fearless, play the game the right way. I'm not just saying go out there, get the ball and beat everybody, don't look for your teammate. That's not the way. There's situations, there's places you can do that on the park, and there's places that you can't. And that's, that comes part and parcels with confidence and what you want your team, or how you want your team to be playing.
That's awesome. I mean, we're talking about Fandi Ahmad there briefly. So I know Ram's going to delve into something about Fandi Ahmad, but we've got to speak about him.
The king.
Yeah, of course, of course, growing up watching both of you play, has been awesome. And I wanted to ask you this question. And I told myself, if I were to ever meet Abbas, this is one question I want to ask you. And finally, I get the chance. So I personally felt that, the Abbas and Fandi partnership up front was absolutely phenomenal. In my opinion, I thought it was one of the best I've seen going forward. Which strike partnership in the Premier League do you think resonates with that yours and Fandi's, that comes closest to that?
Oh, in the Premier League at the moment.
In the Premier League, yeah.
Look at Harry Kane and probably Song, and you look at Song. But see, I'd like to say Mane and Salah, but they're both similar players and they're both wingers. They're not, there's no striker there. Probably Harry Kane. You look at Aguero and De Bruyne. I think when they play closer to each other, they were unbelievable for me. So probably De Bruyne, Aguero. That sort of partnership when De Bruyne pushes a little bit further, just to play as a number 10 or false second 9, whatever you want to call it. Probably Song and Kane when they're on form, they're unbelievable in the Premier League.
Very telepathic, actually. They're very telepathic as well. Son and Kane.
You can see that. They look for each other. They create chances for each other. They score goals. It's probably similar to what myself and Fandi. I mean, that year, me and Fandi, I think we scored 65 goals between us. I think for Singapore on that year. And, I think we both went over 30 goals for that season, in all competitions. So, and that's what wins you competitions. If your strike partners can score that many goals, and they both get them in double figures or 25 goals plus, which like we did, then you're pretty much going to win the competition. Yeah, I like their Kane and probably Song. I think they look for each other. They're dynamic. One's a great finisher. One's probably a dribbler. Probably Fundy's more the Kane, and me the Song Heung-min, because my pace and my dribbling, and Fundy was more, of a holding play. Exactly what probably Kane did. Very intelligent and can score goals either foot, head, whatever. So yeah, it is. Look, he was a great player. It was easy to play with. Fundy, like I said, our understanding was second to none. That's what made us not only popular but made us successful, because of the understanding and the respect that we had for each other.
Actually, for viewers of today, for example, the younger viewers, it would be good to get some insights on how good was Fandi actually. Because he was one of those players who actually had a successful stint in Europe as well. With Groningen, he scored in the Champions League against Inter Milan. He's spoken of really highly. I mean, we've watched him play as well. But for those new viewers out there, how good was it playing? How good a player was he?
Well, I got to play against Fandi and with Fandi. And let's see, I'm just trying to get the right age. Fandi would have been about 30, actually, when I first came. So he would have been 30 at Kuala Lumpur. That was his last year. That was my first year. I played against him when he was at KL. His last year at KL. And then from there, I think he went to Pahang. And then from Pahang, we came together back to Singapore, me and him. How good was he? The best. He was the best player in Southeast Asia by a long mile. He was that good. He was probably regarded one of the best players, not Southeast Asia. He was regarded one of the best players in Asia.
Wow.
And that's big.
Wow.
That's big.
That's huge, yeah.
I saw highlights of him when he was in his 20s, 20 to 30, in that 10-year span. And he was incredible. He was a phenomenal player. He had the whole package, Fandi. He can shoot both legs and score both feet. Heading ability is probably the best header. Him and Zainul Abidin Hassan, best two headers of the ball I've seen during my time. Even better than anybody that I played with here in Australia or for Australia. They were that good in the air, both of them. Finishing, Fandi was just phenomenal. Both feet, can hold up the ball, can see a pass, can do that. Zainul was just a phenomenal athlete. Zainul was just strong, huge. He can dribble. He can go past you. I've never seen anybody quicker than Zainul, and so strong. Technically, he wasn't anywhere near as good as Fandi or maybe other players, but yeah, he was just an absolute machine. But Fandi was probably the best that's ever come out of the region.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's high praise. And obviously, we've heard lots about him as a person as well. Absolutely, very, from what we've heard at least, very down to earth, exceptional human being as well.
And the other two, my Malaysian favourites, the two best players that I saw come out of Malaysia, is got to be Dola Saleh and Azizul Abi Hanifa. They were the two best players in Malaysia.
Dola Saleh was incredible. Actually, I was going to say, as a Red Giants fan, Azman Adnan was pretty good as well. It was a good finisher back then. Yeah.
I'm talking about. You're talking about midfielders, the guys that had everything. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Azizul was just phenomenal. He was the best midfielder. And I'll tell you what, close second, not far behind him, was Nasser Yusuf, my former teammate, the professor in our team, in that JDT team. He was superb. Nasser was superb, but he was like at late age. He was right at the end of his career. But I saw Azizul in his prime, in his 20s, and I saw Dollar in his late 20s, and they were like different class. Yeah, Azman was a great striker. Don't get me wrong, Azman was a very, very good striker. You had Lim Tong Kim was a very good player in the middle of the park. Also, you had Slangor team. You had Malik Rahman had some really good years up there with Slangor. There were some very, very good players in Malaysia, but those two really stood out for me.
Awesome. Brings back, like I said, classy memories. And guys, younger viewers, if you've heard these names for the first time, go and check out some YouTube reel somewhere, for example. Some quality names, quality players there as well.
Yeah, much better what you got in Malaysia at the moment. Trust me.
Yeah. 100.
Oh, that
100% agree. Taking you forward now, Abbas, we've spoken about the playing career. I want to speak a little bit about the punditry career as well, because obviously we're big fans of your time as a pundit. on National Super Sport, watching the Premier League. And I've got to ask you this question because I always wonder about this when I watch former players being a pundit, for example. What did you enjoy most as a pundit? And also, having played the game, was it difficult being critical of a manager or players?
Yeah, it is. I don't like to be. I don't like to be. I hate that, to be honest with you, because I've been a player. I understand. You're gonna have your good days. You're gonna have bad days too. Nobody's perfect. Nobody is perfect in life, and definitely not footballers, especially us. When you're playing 40, 50 games a season, it's not easy on the body. There's so many things. You know what I mean? Injuries. You got your personal problems. There's so many things that in the way which fans don't understand. Oh, it's Abbas. Yeah, I've seen that, but that's what Abbas can do. I want to see him do every. Can't do it. I'd love to do it every week, but you got to have your off days, and you got to give credit to the opposition. Some days, they're going to get on top of you also. So, in any which way you can. So, yeah, look, it was. It's a difficult period at the time for me to criticise. I tried not to criticise. To be honest with you, I was very constructive. I was very constructive, as you could say. But I'm a straight shooter. I'm very straightforward. I see it. I see it as I say it, pretty much. So, and that's important for me. So, yeah. Look, I just tried to be honest, bringing back my knowledge of how I played the game and everything, and put myself in their situation, and that's how I pretty much analyze things. Put myself in their situation, because I have done it. How the hell? I can't say he should have done it this way. And I would have said, "My God, but could he have done it?" I know it can be done or it couldn't be done. So I have a clear idea. But no, look, it was great times. I loved my times at Astro Super Sport. Made some great friends. Yeah, I hope the whole of Malaysia enjoyed our punditry and our comments on the game. That's important. Meet some wonderful players, some legends of the game that came in there, got their knowledge of the game. You talk with them. So many stories to share. It's incredible moments, and moments that I'll cherish for the rest of my life.
No, I can imagine. It must be one hell of a difficult job, especially if you're analyzing someone like Ronaldinho on screen and having to criticize him, for example. Must be one hell of a difficult situation. But yeah, I mean, actually, talking about the guests you had you obviously, there were a lot of guests coming in the studio. For example, a former international. I think there was guys come Mendieta. There were real class players that joined you in the studio as well. Yeah. Was there one of them that stood out as a pundit who you thought he's got a brilliant tactical? I mean, he analyzes the game fabulously well. Was there someone that stood out during the time there?
Oh, that's a difficult question. My God, we had probably had about 100 of them. Tony Cotty was very good. Cotty was very good. He studied the game very, very well. And being a pundit, you gotta study the opposition. You got your knowledge of the player. You can't just walk out him not knowing what's he's been doing and how he's been playing. The team is important. The way the team plays is important. John Barnes was very, very good. Very straightforward, Johnny. So he was, he was one of the good ones, as you could say. Who else? There's some great players who probably were a little bit shy to express themselves, I think. Definitely. And look, that's a hard one. It's a really difficult one for me. But Darren Anderton was pretty good. Darren was pretty good. Yeah. Darren was pretty good there. Mendieta, Gaiska Mendieta, knew his football very, very well, and expressed himself very, very well. So, and then you look at many that came into the region and stayed and lived in the region, and they did well. But look, you got to respect their views. And end of the day, it's your view. It doesn't mean I'm right or wrong. It's just the way you see the game and how you want the game or the team perform on that day. So other players see the game differently, and you just got to respect everybody's view. It's just what comes out of you and what comes out of your knowledge. And and sometimes we're the same. Me and the other pundits are the same. Sometimes we're not, and on many occasions we didn't agree. But we'll leave that to the viewers, which way they go.
And that's what made it brilliant viewing, isn't it? That's what made
Yeah.
it brilliant viewing. Those debates, for example, you want someone to be able to express his honest opinion, really.
Yep.
I
And
mean,
I was,
watching
always honest. I was always honest with my opinion. That's the one thing I did. Yeah.
Awesome. And guys, again, Tony Cotty, if you guys don't know, former England international, scored a ton of goals, but also played in the region, played in Malaysia. I believe he played for Selangor back in the day. Had a year, I think it was a season, or half a season at Selangor as well. So quality. And now moving on, Abbas, we want to talk a little bit about the coaching badges and career in management. We spoke a little bit because I know you were planning to do some youth development with Geylang. I also heard you managed the Deaf Institute of Australia? Was it for
the football team? The national deaf football team here in Australia. So they needed some help, and they came up to me, and I did that for my own time and try and help out. And it was a wonderful experience. I was with him for about 4 years. I was just helping him out, train. We are so lucky. We are so lucky. And
I know.
when they play, they can't play with their hearing aids, so it sort of unbalances them when they play. But there's some good talent. There's some really, really good deaf players running around. But wonderful moment for me. Wonderful time for me. I really enjoyed it.
It must have been a fantastic experience. We actually had a guest from Indonesia. I think you remember Akash some time ago, who did manage, I think, the Indonesian deaf football team as well. And he told us the challenges that were involved in it. It was a brilliant experience, he said, but very challenging at the same time, having to
very challenging. If you don't know your sign language, obviously I had somebody help me, but it's a lot easier if you learn your sign language and you can communicate with the players. But many times I was shouting and thinking why they're not hearing me, why they're not looking. So then you forget that it is very challenging, but wow, very rewarding seeing their smile on their faces and them enjoying the game. And that's what it's all about. It's that smile on your face every day.
Yeah, that was the best part about football in the 90s as well. The smile that it brought to your face. I've got to ask you the question: how will an Abbas? How can we expect an Abbas Saad team to play, or what will an Abbas Saad team look like in terms of style of play, in terms of how you would want it to play? And you're going into management as well now, so it'd be cool to get your perspective of how you would want your team to line up, how you expect your team to play.
Attacking from the front.
All out attack.
Press from the front. Play in the opposition half. Create chances. Obviously, express yourself. But obviously, you got to play as a team. If you don't play as a team, you're not going to win anything. End of the day, you still want to win trophies, and you're not going to win trophies just playing individual football. So there's obviously that's part of the game. That's going to win your game, but it's teamwork, which is the end of the day, and consistency that's going to win your games. But you got to go out there, play fearless football, entertaining football, and I think if you can put that together with a good squad, you've got every chance of winning something.
Fabulous. And would it be fair to say you would play with two strikers, a strike partnership, or would it be?
I would.
Be one of those?
Yeah, I would. 4-4-2 or 4-3-3, probably my favorite, probably structure to play at the moment. But it depends. If I've got two very good strikers, I'm not going to leave one of them on the bench. Of course, I'm going to play both of them. Yeah. They'll both be in my team. If I've got one good striker and two good wide players, then I will play the three up front. Maybe I might play some days with one holding midfielder, and I have an 8 and a 10, or maybe 2 10s behind the 9 and attack, or sometimes depends on some away games against more difficult players, good teams with good midfield, then maybe I'll have 2 6s playing and you play a different structure. But look, it's all about you playing on the front foot, respecting the opposition, but not respecting them too much. Yeah. So you go out there and you do your thing also.
No, fabulous. And that's why that's the best part, right? I think it's important to have a philosophy of the way you want to play.
Yeah.
But sometimes you see some managers these days where they're extremely rigid with their formation as well. And they don't cater to the opposition, or they don't cater to the players they have at their disposal. Or this is the formation we're going to play. I think it's good to have a philosophy. and maintain that philosophy, but at the same time be flexible with the way your team is going to play
You
on
have to be
formation. Because
flexible. You got to be flexible, especially every opposition team is different. They play differently. They play a different structure, and but you got to trust your philosophy. I think you got to. The players have got to believe in your philosophy also, which is important. There's no use you playing a philosophy and the players don't believe in it. Then you're gone. You're finished.
Yep.
So you got to make them love it and believe it, and that's probably the hardest part at first, and then it's up to them to go out there and put it on the park, and that's probably the easiest part for me, because you're allowing the players to play their game and express themselves, and within that structure that you want to play. And if they can do that to the best of their ability, well, of course you got every chance of succeeding.
Fabulous. We're going to just very quickly run into the Premier League today, Abbas, because we're going to put your punditry hat on basically now. Ram's got something to ask you on the Premier League, and then we're just going to fire some rapid fire questions to you about the Premier League today as well, to get your punditry expertise, put it to the test. So we'll start with Ram. Go on, Ram.
Well, having you said about players should express themselves, managers should not be too rigid, which I totally agree with you, Abbas. I've watched the Premier League and I get so frustrated sometimes. So I have this one question for you, burning question for you, Abbas. As a Man United fan, what's wrong with Man United this season? Do you have any idea? What's your opinion?
I knew that would come from you as a Man United. You look at the team. You look at their squad. Wow. I mean, they got some. Everybody goes, wow. Yes, they got some very good attacking players. But you look at their midfield. You look at their midfield. I don't think their midfield's in the top 6 in the Premier League. Okay, that's my opinion. You look at their back 4. They've probably got one. Okay, Varane's been a great player, but I think Real Madrid knew what's happening. I think they've let him go because of the injuries the last 2 years. Varane, for 5 years, was the best central defender in world football. He was number 1 in world football. And he showed it, winning the UCL with Real Madrid 3 years in a row. He's won the World Cup. He won the Euros, being the centre back, the mainstay at the back for his team. Harry Maguire is a hit and miss. Some days he can, he might play a good game. I'm not going to go to be too critical of him. He did well at Leicester. Then he's come in there. I think he's just got overawed, to be honest with you. But you look at him play for England, and he plays a lot better for England than he does for Man United. So then you question, yes, maybe it's the style of play that they're playing is different. It's not getting the best out of him. So you look at right back and left back. I love Luke Shaw. When he was at Southampton, that's my team. I follow the Saints. And he was great. For me, Luke Shaw at Southampton was the best left fullback in the Premier League. But then injuries have killed him. He looks overweight, doesn't look the same player. Wan-Bissaka is a good athlete, but he's not a good footballer. He's no Dani Alves, great on the ball. These days, everybody has to be able to play. You've got to be able to play out. You got to be, when you're in the wide areas, you got to be able to cross the ball. You got to, be, try and cut the ball back to a midfielder. You got to try and create also. So if you can't do that, then you're in trouble. They got a great goalkeeper, good strikers, but they're missing in many other positions, and that's why probably they're struggling. I really don't understand their recruitment. I think the recruitment hasn't been great over the years, and I think that's why they've fallen behind Chelsea, Man City, and Liverpool. And they're not just fallen, they've fallen behind badly in the last couple of years because of bad recruitment.
And what do you think about Fred and McTominay, Abbas?
Well,
I have to ask you this.
They're good players, but they're not great players, are they?
Yeah.
You look at Chelsea, Kante, you got Mason Mount,
Jorginho,
Kovacic. Wow. I mean, all 4 of them. And by far, they got the best midfield. You look at Man City, and then you got Silva, you got De Bruyne, you got Gundogan, you got Rodri.
Mahrez.
Harrison, is there? And then you look at Liverpool. You got Keita, you got Henderson, You know, you
Fabinho,
got
Thiago, yep.
exactly, Fabinho and all these guys. So you can't compare. And you look at what you got. Okay, Pogba for me, world class. Pogba for me is world class, but Pogba has been injured for the last 2-3 years. I don't know where he's heading. He's not the same player when he plays for France. And apart from Pogba, you don't have any world class midfielders, and that's why Arsenal's struggling. Arsenal's the same. Arsenal never had any midfield.
And, and and I have to say, Abbas, when you said that, you could see how happy Harry was, because he loves it when he knows United are not doing so well, in the Premier League. He loves it.
They finally decided to sign an expensive midfielder as well, and apparently they beat Real Madrid to Donny van de Beek, and he hasn't played in 2 years. So,
you know what? That player breaks my heart because I watched him for Ajax. That Ajax team when Donny van de Beek was wow, they were the best team in Europe. They should have been in the final instead of Spurs against Liverpool in the Champions League. Yeah, and the only team who would have beaten Liverpool, and sorry to say it,
it's true.
And for me, I honestly believe if Ajax got to the final, Ajax would have won the Champions League that year. They were that bloody good. That game, the semi-finals, they probably should have beaten Spurs by 10 goals on aggregate, but they just couldn't score.
What a game! Yeah,
they just had misfortunes. Just luck wasn't on their way. And talking about Donny van de Beek, and he was probably in the top 2 or 3 players in that team. That's how good he was. And look at what happened to him. I really feel for him. As an ex-player, he's got to go. He's got to leave. He's got to go. You can't forget about the money or whatever he's getting paid. He's got to go and enjoy his football because he will regret it for the rest of his life if he doesn't get out of there and start playing. And I still think there's a lot of talent in Van de Beek there if he goes to another team.
Actually, give me a lot of pleasure in saying this, but it's true, I think, as well, Abbas. The fact I think it's a bit of a toxic environment now at Old Trafford because if you think about it, if you're a player, and I know they've got a big name, etc., United, but if you're a player and you're approached by United to join them, you probably think 10 times because a lot of these players, you talk about Donny van de Beek, Rafa Varane, Ronaldo even now. I mean, Jadon Sancho, everyone was a top talent who's gone there and their stock has really fallen. So you'd probably question yourself, if I go there, my stock is going to fall as well. And I think it's a difficult situation, actually. I think it's one of the...
it's incredible. You look at Van de Beek, you look at Sancho, Pogba. Juventus was the best midfielder in the world, in Europe. I mean, they won, they won everything there. You look at Rashford, his game has gone backwards. You look at the back, Varane at the moment, he looks like a second-rate defender at the moment, alongside Lindelof and Harry Maguire. So, and it's not just about your individual. It doesn't mean how good you are. You still need players around you to get the best out of you. See, it's a team game. It's not an individual game. You might see a little bit of their best in flashes, but that's not what football's about. Consistency for 90 minutes, for 30 games, 40 games a year. That's what makes great players, for good players, sets apart great players from good players. And that's what's missing at the moment. Ronaldo, you can't get the best out of Ronaldo because there's not many players around him. Ronaldo is great, not because he's so great. He's he's one of the best players ever. But at Real Madrid, they made him great too. Look at the service he used to get. Look at Juventus. Even at Juventus, service was great. He was scoring goals. So those kind of players need everybody to be performing, and I really feel for Jadon Sancho and Don van de Beek because if I was United, I'll probably try and sell them, to be honest with you, and just let them go somewhere else and try and get a couple of more defenders and two world-class midfielders. But as you said, would they come with the current toxic environment that is at United? It really depends who's the next manager.
I think that's really key.
That's great.
Yeah, fantastic. I mean, we're just going to go to a very quick segment now, Abbas. It's just a rapid fire in the Premier League. 5 really quick questions. And we want a quick answer. So it's a rapid fire. So it's got to be a really quick fire answer. Okay. I'll take the first one. So in the Premier League, Man City, Chelsea, or Liverpool, your pick to win it?
Man City.
Sorry, Harry. It's not going to be Liverpool.
I think that was an obvious answer. I think they're running away with it.
I would have probably Liverpool would be close, but not without Mane and Salah in the African Cup in Asia. I think they're gonna. I hope they don't, but I think they're gonna struggle without them. That's why.
I think too big a loss. Too big a loss.
Yeah.
Yours, Ram.
Okay, my turn. Surprise team of the season in the Premier League.
Oh, Brighton has to be. Brighton.
Playing some great stuff. Playing some really good stuff. And to be honest, good point. Graham Potter, I think, top manager, top potential. That guy.
Yeah, done very well.
Yep.
But just before the next question, what about Brentford, Abbas? Just wanted to ask you.
Brentford's entertaining. I love watching them. We're talking about attacking football. Brentford plays football the right way. I'd line a coach, and I want to play in that team. It's just on the front foot. Oh, look, they're great to watch. I said Brighton, but also I should say West Ham. I love watching. West Ham. It's a different team.
Under David Moyes.
David Moyes, and he's another one, and he's done an unbelievable job. So, yeah, look, I'll take that. I think Brighton and West Ham for me, but I don't want to say surprise West Ham because they've been good for the last couple of years, to be honest with you. But Brighton's really come good this year.
Fair enough. Signings that have impressed. Any specific signing or a couple of signings that have impressed this season? Caught your eye.
You mean new signings?
Yep.
Just trying to have a look. Look at us. There's hardly the new signing. There's hardly anybody actually from the new ones that's come in. Yeah. Most of the older signings have really done really well. You look at Man City's the same ones, Liverpool's the same players, Chelsea. You name it. So
Lukaku hasn't really hit the ground running as well. Yeah,
he's not like a new signing. He's been in the Premier League before that, but just somebody who'd probably come in the Premier League for the first year and done so well. Look, there's hardly anybody. No, not really. Not really. No one stood out.
Fair point. And then it links to the next question, actually, Ram. Maybe this one.
Okay. Player of the year for you, Abbas. Player of the year for you.
Bernardo Silva at the moment. There has to be Bernardo Silva and Mo Salah, the two most outstanding. And I was gonna, Chelsea. I can't say one in Chelsea because I think they've had a few injuries. But those two players have been on the park the most. I think they've probably played every game so far this year, and they've been just absolutely unbelievable. I can't go past Mo Salah and Bernardo Silva for me. They've been the two best players.
Actually, the debate has been going on for a long time, this one. So I just want your opinion on this as well. Mo Salah, currently best player in the world, in your opinion?
Yeah, he would have to be. He'll have to be right up there. Absolutely. Look, I mean, Messi and Ronaldo hogged the limelight for the last 6-7 years. They're nowhere near him. Both of them, not even for me, Messi and Ronaldo not even in the top 10 at the moment. For me, best players or perform players. We're talking about at
the moment.
Who's hot at the moment? And Mo Salah, right up there. Bernardo Silva, the way, Kevin De Bruyne. For me, you got some very very Karim Benzema.
Benzema's been brilliant.
He's been unbelievable for Real Madrid and for France. So those. Then you look at Bayern Munich. Robert Lewandowski, one of my all-time favorite strikers. Probably Salah and Lewandowski. I'll drop it down to two. Probably two. I'll keep Benzema just below that, and probably Bernardo Silva just below that. I'll go Lewandowski and Salah as the best two players in the world at the moment.
Yeah, and maybe even for Player of the Year, actually, Abbas. An outside shout, but I have been very impressed with Declan Rice, actually. He's turned from a holding midfielder into a proper number 8 now, box to box. Yeah.
He's been in that position. He's been the number one player in the Premier League at the moment, and I love Kante, but Kante hasn't played that many. I think probably Jorginho played more. Kante's been injured, and he had the virus, so he's missed a few games. But in that holding midfielder, I mean, Kante is by far the best player in probably in the world in that position, the way how he plays. But yes, Declan Rice for me, absolutely, you're spot on there. Consistency wise, he's been the best. He's been the best player in that position in the Premier League.
All right, another quick one. Team you enjoy watching the most in the Premier League?
Oh, look, the front, probably the top three. The top three teams. I do. then you throw in a couple of other teams. You look at Aston Villa. Yeah, I mean, Southampton. You always enjoy watching Southampton. That's why I'm a Southampton fan. They've been playing that kind of attractive football. You know, they'd win 6-4, they lose 7-5. You know what I mean?
Yep.
It's
or 9-0 as it's happened a couple of years now.
Man City on their day, Liverpool on their day, Chelsea on their day. That's the kind of football that you wanna play in the Premier League. I mean, that's why they are the top 3 teams in the league.
All right, Ram, you can wrap up the rapid fire then.
The final question for this rapid fire, Abbas, is the manager you would have loved to have played for as a player. Who would that be?
There's probably 3 managers, I think. 3 managers, you could probably say, maybe 4, probably 4, I'd say. Obviously, Sir Alex Ferguson, you'd want to play for Sir Alex Ferguson. I think he got the best out of every player that came and played for him. So if I went there, he's going to improve me. I know I was going to finish up a better player. So that's the kind of manager you want. That's what managers are. Klopp is the same, gets the best out of his players. Guardiola is the same. That's 3. And you look at, and you're going to throw in Zidane. I mean, the success that he had at Real Madrid, 3 Champions League in a row, whatever it is. These are the kind of managers you want to play for. And the way they played their football, expressive football, entertaining, attacking, just phenomenal. Everything that says about those 4. That's why they were so successful, because of the way they managed their team and the way they got the best out of not only the teams, but individually they got the best out of every individual in their team.
I think Zidane as well. Not just playing with him, but I think playing with him as a manager, obviously a successful manager, but imagine him being your manager and you growing up idolizing a player like Zidane. And if he joined in training sessions, I think you would just sit back, put a chair and take a seat actually and just admire the way he controlled that ball. Oh,
yeah, it's just to play Rondo. But before training.
Oh my God. It must have been such a pleasure to play with.
Yeah, absolutely. He's one of my favorite all-time players. He was just phenomenal as a footballer. Yeah.
Absolutely. I mean, Abbas, it's been a pleasure having you on the show. But before we let you go, I mean, obviously it's been a great year for football. But over the last couple of days, we've heard the sad news that's come through of someone we have interviewed as well a couple of times, a Malaysian legend, a fabulous individual, spoke his mind as a pundit, and big fan of him as a pundit as well. Shebby, obviously, he's passing a couple of days ago as well. Just wanted to get your thoughts on him as a person, as him as a player, because I think you might have crossed paths with him a number of times.
Yes. I've known Shebby since the first year, since 1990 when I played against him at KL. Actually, my first home game for Singapore was against KL, and Shebby was playing that game with Fandi and Malik, 1990. You don't understand. I think I was in shock, like every single one of you guys and everybody in the region. He was a very, very good footballer, very successful on the field. As a pundit, he's a very, very good, controversial pundit. He spoke his mind. He did it his way. I never saw eye to eye all the time with him. We had our arguments, probably in the hot seat there on the way, analysing, the game or whatever. But he did it his way, and that's what you got to love about Shebby. He did it his way.
His way.
That's it. And you got to respect that. As I said, it's important. My condolences, my heartfelt condolences to his family. Obviously, great loss to the football family, our football family, because he was part of it, like I was in the region there. He was a very successful player on the field for Johor. I think mostly for KL, where he won all those cups with Fandi. Actually, was his teammate for many of them. JDT he played. And obviously he played for Malaysia, I think about 50, 60 times, maybe even more. I don't know exactly the number. So, look, he was a larger-than-life character, and he'll be sadly missed. And, like I said, my condolences and prayers to his families, and we wish them well in these good times. And obviously, we will miss him, but we will never forget him.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, never to be forgotten, and definitely someone we will miss in the football fraternity, and his passion for the game as well.
Absolute passion was unbelievable. Yep.
Gone too soon, never forgotten, and always remembered.
Way too young. Way too young. Absolutely, way too young. And yeah, God bless him.
Yeah, and like I said, never to be forgotten, and also Shebby himself said this, but I think he was one of those people who I think started the libero role in Malaysia. That's the role he played, the libero role, the sweeper role for that KL team and for the Malaysia team. So Shebby, I mean, condolences to his family, like you said. Gentleman on and off the pitch, and going to be sorely missed.
Absolutely.
Over to you, Ram.
All right. Abbas, thank you so much for joining us today on this very, very special episode. It was a real pleasure having you on board. I had so much of fun, talking to you, and of course discussing the decline of Man United. It's finally got it off my chest. It felt really, really good. but definitely.
For you.
Yeah, but thank you for coming on our show, and of course we wish you all the best in your future endeavors, of course, as a coach. Yes, and I'm very, very sure whatever you are looking forward to be, I'm sure you're going to do a great job, and our best wishes are with you, Abbas. So thank you once again for joining our show.
Thank you both for having me on. I wish you all the best with the show. Continue doing what you're doing, what you love doing, which is the most important thing. Obviously, thank you for all the Malaysian fans who've followed me and supported me all those years. I mean, I love Malaysia. Malaysia's like second home to me. Like Singapore, had the best time of my life there, successful years there, and not just for me and for my family, and so many friends. I've got so many friends over in Malaysia and in Singapore, and that's why I love being there whenever I can. And hopefully there'll be a day when you'll see me hopefully managing a team there. I'd love to do that. So that's next on the agenda. That would be a dream come true for me to manage one of the teams in Malaysia. So thank you so much, guys, and I wish you guys all the best. Wish you good health, and just be safe and be happy for this new year.
No, absolutely, and I'm very happy to you, Abbas. Stay safe, and we look forward to we're going to keep an eye for your team. That's for sure. We want to see we want to see a highly expressive team, so we're looking forward to that, Abbas. But all the best for future endeavors, and we'll definitely be in touch, and hopefully have you on the show and sometime in the future again as well.
Absolutely, very, very, very much enjoyed it. Thank you so much. Thank you, and good night from here from Sydney to you guys, and and like I said, all the best to you guys, and take care of yourselves.
Thanks, Ram. You want to sign off?
Sure. Signing off from the Plot Malaysia. This is the show for the fans.
Hi, the fans. Cheers, Abbas.
Thank you, guys.
Cheers, Abbas. Cheers,
Take
everyone.
care. Take care.